This is Algebra 2, Text Section 1.5, Problem 1, and I'm working on number 7, y equals negative 4x plus 1. They've asked me to graph the function and provide the algebraic transformation and the graphical transformation. Just from looking at the function, I can determine the algebraic transformations. They're looking for the transformations from the basic function, which is y equals x. So they're asking for how it's changed from y equals x to this function. The first thing I notice is that there's a 1 added on at the end. So my first algebraic transformation is to add 1. Next, I've noticed that they've multiplied the x by negative 4. I'm going to split this up into two parts, multiplying by 4, a positive number, and multiplying by negative 1. This will help me when I'm listing my graphical transformations. Multiply by 4 and multiply by negative 1. By doing both of these, I would come up with negative 4x. From here, I can determine my three graphical transformations. By adding 1, my graphical transformation will be that my graph will shift up 1 unit. Multiplying by 4 will create a dilation of 4, meaning the graph will stretch. And multiplying by 4 will cause a reflection. So that was why I split up these two, was because they would result in two different things happening. Multiplying by a positive number will result in some kind of dilation, and multiplying by negative 1 will always result in a reflection. So let's go to the graph. First, I'm going to graph the basic function y equals x so that I have something to compare it to. Y equals x goes through the point 0, 0 and goes up 1 and over 1. And so the basic function looks like this. From this basic function, I'm going to use these graphical transformations to create my final graph of y equals negative 4x plus 1. I'm going to shift my entire graph up one space. So instead of 0, 0, I'm going to be up at 0, 1. So the second graph that I've drawn shows that I've shifted up 1. Next, I'm going to show a dilation of 4. So I'm still going to be revolving around this point, but instead of going up 1 over 1 each space, I'm going to be going up 4 over 1. And that was my dilation of 4. So it stretched my graph from the basic function into this. And now I have a much steeper slope. And finally, my multiplying by negative 1 caused a reflection. So my entire graph is going to be flipped. So it's still going to be revolving around this point, but this point over here will be reflected on this side like a mirror, and this point will be reflected over here. So my final graph will look like this. And this final line is the graph of y equals negative 4x plus 1. You don't always have to graph each graphical transformation. I wanted to show you each step on how to get to this, but sometimes it helps to have the basic function down so you can compare it to something. Also, if you had just used slope and intercept to graph this, you would have come up with the same graph. Notice we have an intercept of positive 1. So I have my point at 0, 1, and a slope of negative 4.